Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Get Up and Dad podcast, the show where we interview hardworking parents doing incredible things. This could be anything from a super duper tech dad to a busy business mommy blogger.
Let's get up and dance!
Today on the show we have Meredith, who is in New York State. We are doing it over the Atlantic for the first time. Say hello, Meredith.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No bother. It's great having you on the show. So, first of all, just to give us some context, can you tell me how many kids you've got and how old are they?
I have two girls. Lily is 13 and Ava is almost 9.
Awesome. So, when your kids grow up and they're listening to this podcast and they're thinking about what they want to do with their lives, how are you going to explain to them what you do? Or what you've done to give them some ideas?
I would hope that they would know what I do, but I mean, I hope that they see me kind of like doing something that I enjoy, something that I find fulfilling while helping other people. They already tell people that I'm a YouTuber, and so I have to kind of like tell them it's like if you just tell people you're a YouTuber, they are like, okay, I don't know really what that means. So I try to do a good job of kind of explaining really what it is that I do, and that YouTube is just a tool to do that. But yeah, I try to incorporate that, like them as much as possible in my business, not in front of the camera, but behind the camera, and share what I'm doing, or share what even like things that I'm struggling with, or something that I'm nervous about, or if I have a win or something, I try to share all that with them so that they know what I do.
Brilliant.
Hopefully.
Awesome. And I mean, I was kind of looking through your stuff, and I was kind of going, what would you call yourself? You know, because I wouldn't have said YouTuber because of some of the stuff that you're doing. It was more like a video creator kind of, is how I kind of saw you. But I mean, what do you think are some of the common myths about video creators, and how would you debunk that?
I think there's a lot of myths. I think it's really easy to look at video creators and think that it looks really easy, or think that all they do is create videos and just, money just kind of like falls from the sky. I think probably the biggest myth is that being successful is like an accidental thing, or it's like something you stumble upon, or you're just like lucky enough to strike gold or something. And because instead it's a journey. It's something that you are constantly working towards. And, sure, there are video creators that do kind of like randomly go viral, but that's not really a strategy. That's not a business strategy. So there's a lot that goes into it. Video just happens to be the medium that I like to use. And YouTube just happens to be the tool that I use most often. So yeah, it's really a multifaceted kind of business.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I'm in a similar situation with yourself in terms I would be working with video all the day, and people just think I push a button and it's good to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's their perception sometimes. And they just don't realize how much work is actually going into it. And I mean, I've been following you from your journey since you've kind of started, and to see how much you've grown since then, and how much work that you've kind of put into that. Has there been anything particular that's really helped you on your journey?
Any one thing? There's so many things. I think just keeping going. I know that sounds kind of like, of course, that's what keeps you going on your journey, is that you have to keep going. But you have to decide to keep going every day. We all have the choice every day to either show up for our goals and our dreams or not. And so just deciding every day to show up, or even when I decide, to not show up for like a week, to decide it's okay, I can just keep going. Like, you don't ever really fail unless you stop going. And so I think just the concept of moving forward, every little step, every little action that you take. I love there's a saying that action creates clarity. And so many people wait, they're like, I have clients that are like, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm not ready yet because I don't have, I don't really know what I'm doing. I can't really envision it. And like, the truth is you won't ever envision it. You can only like create it from just kind of taking little steps at a time. So yeah, I think keeping going is the thing that
I mean,
kept me going.
I remember when you first started, you didn't have the same name that you had now, and then you just changed all you and rebranded everything to your new name, and I was all, oh my god, that is so much work to go through everything and rename stuff. And when I was coming up with Get Up and Dad, I was like, right, I need to make sure this, and that's part of the reason why I was like, I need to make sure I get this right here, because see, to have to go through that whole process, I'm going, oh, how was that process?
It actually wasn't that bad. So when I started my YouTube channel and my blog, it was GoProMom.com, which I thought had a really great ring to it. And I was creating GoPro tutorials. So it made sense, even though I knew that GoPro is a trademark. It wasn't like I didn't know that. I knew that. I just did it anyway. Yeah. And like about 4 or 5 months into it, somebody from GoPro had contacted me and wanted me to do a giveaway on my YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, GoPro knows who I am. That's awesome. And so I was like, yeah, I want to do a giveaway. And then he said, I just want to recommend that he actually asked me, he recommended I change my Instagram handle. Okay. He didn't even ask me to change anything else, and he didn't tell me to do it. He did not mention the word trademark or infringement or anything. Okay. He just said, I recommend that you change it to avoid confusion. And so he gave me some other like recommendations of like some other things, other handles. And I asked him, why Instagram? Like, why aren't you concerned about my blog or my YouTube channel? And he said, we're just really cracking down on Instagram right now. And I was like, okay. So I just switched it over to Vid Pro Mom because I still liked the ring of that. And also like, in a way, it's like a word that makes no sense. And so it made no sense. So it made sense to me because no one's going to like copy it or steal it, or it's not a brand name. So it wasn't that difficult to switch things over, actually. All I had was my Instagram, my website, my YouTube channel, and a Facebook page. Twitter. And so, yeah, all I did was I switched them over. I checked to make sure everything that I could get Vid Pro Mom for everything. Yeah. And then I switched everything over and then recreated brand new accounts with the GoPro Mom handle so that no one else could get the GoPro Mom handle. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. The hardest part was switching the website over, but my background is in web design. Like, I can set up a WordPress website in my sleep. So that's what I did. It was actually pretty easy for me.
Brilliant. And I mean, I see a lot of people start channels and start things, and I get excited and I'm like, oh, that's a class video, and they do one video. What do you think most people's reason for giving up is?
I think it's really hard to see how your vision is going to take shape when you're first starting out, and when you don't see your, I don't know, success, or you don't see views or subscribers on your channel, you just assume like this isn't going to work. Like, since it didn't work with this one video, it's not going to work. And it's like nobody goes viral with one video, or like maybe a couple people, but really nobody goes viral. Like, you don't grow a channel with one video. So, yeah, I think they just kind of lose that vision. And like I already mentioned, like you just form the vision as you go. It's not like a paint by number painting that you did as a kid. I don't know if you have those in Ireland, but it's not that cut and dry. It's like a vision that you're forming as you go. It's like you're the creator of the game board, and you're also like the character of the game.
Yeah.
So you get to like choose whatever you want, but you have to keep going. And if that means that you have to change directions or reinvent yourself or switch niches, then so be it. You're in control of the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, what motivated me to kind of start making videos with the kids was a video, "Where's the GoPro?" Because I mean, it got their attention, and then they reposted it. It got video of the day, and I was like, I'm getting super motivated here. People are actually watching stuff, and then afterwards, you're kind of going, why is nobody else watching anything else? Do you know what I mean? So there's that kind of super motivated thing. But what really amazes me right now is, especially looking back at the kids at that video and looking at them when they're younger and all the videos I've made. I mean, it actually means so much, because you can look at that point or that event that happened and it just turned out really well, and it's always going to be that memory that's there that can't be taken away, you know. So yeah, I think people kind of give up for that reason. It's just kind of trying to stick at it, you know. So what would you say is your favorite get up mum thing to do with the kids? I saw you out snow tubing the other day. I thought, oh, I wish I was there.
We went snow tubing. That was fun. We're actually kind of homebodies, but which is probably one of the reasons why I don't create GoPro tutorials anymore, because it's kind of hard to do when you don't go out and do stuff all the time. But as a family, we really like to take road trips.
Okay.
A lot of people living in upstate New York, where it's cold and snowy like 8 months out of the year, a lot of people go on vacations to like Florida or places that's warm. And we don't. We just like drive around in the snow and go places up here. We have a camp in the Adirondack Mountains. So we go there maybe once a year. My husband goes there more than I do because it's pretty rough. But yeah, we like to go on road trips and kind of like see the different little things along the way and explore places that aren't necessarily the, advertised tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we like to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm something similar. I just love getting out with the kids. See, when it's raining, for instance, or it's really cold and windy at the minute. We've had a few storms, and it's killing me being in the house. And we were off last week because it was like midterm break, and see, not being able to get outside, it just kills me. So it does. So I see you produce huge amounts of content. How do you find that balance of producing that content and being mom at the same time? How do you kind of balance that?
It's a constant battle of balance. Yeah, I do create a lot of content. I wish I could create more content, because I also have to balance it with the rest of my business. So, like I have a membership program. I launch courses here and there. I have one-on-one clients who I help, set up their YouTube strategy and stuff like that. In addition to creating my own content, being a content creator myself. So yeah, it is a constant balance. It's a little bit easier having kids that are in school. I know lots of people have kids that are home and they're trying to do like have the same amount of output that I have while their kids are like in diapers and taking naps and all this. And I'm like, why are you trying to have like just take
So
care of the
it
kids
gets
for a few
easier.
years? Yeah, it gets easier. Yeah, it really does. It gets easier. And I mean, I still do have, you know, my kids are like in sports and all, you know, all that kind of stuff. I basically I keep a very like a very organized schedule in Google Calendar, so I can
Awesome.
always open up my phone at any point, and I know exactly what's happening. So I know that like if I can book a podcast interview, like I know exactly when I can do that, and I don't have to worry about it, you know, double booking with something else. So that's part of it. I just basically fit my work time into the time that the kids are at school. And sometimes I'm working in the evening, like from the couch, you know, with my laptop, but I try not to do that. It's a constant, I don't want to say that it's a struggle because that sounds kind of like a negative thing. Nobody wants to struggle, but it's just a constant thing. But I'm really grateful that's the struggle, right? Like trying to figure out how to record a YouTube video in between like basketball games rather than, you know, when I started my business and my YouTube channel, I had a full-time job and my kids were much younger because it was like 5 years ago. So at that point, I had to balance a full-time job with little kids and a side business. And so being organized about exactly what needs to be done to get content out the door was really helpful for me when I had a full-time job. And yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
it's a constant thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you say you're using Google Calendars there. So I use Google Calendars as well, and my wife uses Google Calendars. It makes things so much easier. When do you think you start putting your kids on the Google Calendars? Do you think you would ever do that?
Yeah, I
Because
totally would do that. I actually should do that with my 13-year-old. Yeah, I should do that. Luckily, with my oldest daughter, she's very organized and
Okay.
she will tell me and she'll remind me like today I have to pick her up from school at 2:20, and she told me that yesterday. And she told me that this morning before she got on the bus. And I'm like, this is perfect because I don't have to remember it. Like, you just tell me when to be there. My youngest daughter will, she's not quite that way, I don't think. She's more like she needs me to tell her where she needs to be. But that's a good idea. I should add the kids on there.
I set up my oldest 5 with email the other day, purely because I needed him. There's like a fun run thing we do here where you can go every week. And you get a barcode and it's timed and stuff and all. So he needed his own email address, but Google do a class thing where you can be a parent of an email. So everything goes through you, or if anything's flagged, it'll email you as well. But he never uses it. It's just so I could sign up for that account. But it's crazy it's crazy what they're thinking of now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've been doing what you've been doing now for how many years is that? Have you been running the blog?
I started actually publishing content weekly in 2015. So I'm in my 6th year now.
6th year. So, I mean, within those 6 years, what have you found most difficult?
Oh boy, most difficult. That's a good question. I think it is difficult to know that you should keep going versus, you know, maybe I should like give up on this and do something else. You know, there's definitely been times where I have thought, like, wouldn't this be easier if I just had a full-time job? I wouldn't be getting like negative YouTube comments. I would know that my paycheck is coming. There's a lot of positives to having to just like sticking it out with a full-time job. But then, like, honestly, every time I have that thought, I get a like an Instagram DM or an email from somebody telling me like all these ways that I have helped them. Like, thank you so much for publishing this video because it helped me do this, 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 and this. And they're telling me not just like how I helped them, but why it was important to them. And I think, oh gosh, okay, well, I can't give up on that. I can't give up on that person. They really need me to show up. So, but it's hard to know to keep going versus to switch gears or change directions or just give up and get a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be a real slog trying to go for it. I mean, I'm also running a full-time business too. So, I mean, sometimes I'm like, I could just get a job and not have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
And then I think, right, what would I do? And then going through my head, right, well, I'll just do camera work. And then, well, if I do camera work, I'm going to have to get someone in, and then I'll have to do edit afterwards so I can take my work in. And then if I do that, then I'm going to have to get someone to sort out admin, finance. And then I just end up back where I am, you know. So it's almost like, yeah, I just keep going.
Yeah.
You know? So if you could have one superpower as a parent, what would it be and why?
Oh man. I think as a mom who is a business owner, I wish my superpower was that I could just snap my fingers and all my housework would be done.
Yes, that would be it.
All of it. Cleaning, laundry, everything would just like, boom, be done.
That would be awesome. It's 2020 now. What do you wish you knew pre-mom with the experience that you have now?
As a parent or as a parent who has a business?
As a parent who has a business.
I wish, and this is something that actually I wish more people knew, is like that how important it is for your kids to see you doing something outside of the box. Like I feel I'm really passionate about showing people the way outside of the box.
Okay.
The way like outside, you know, beyond their job. Not that I necessarily, I don't think my life's mission is to help people start a business so they can quit their job. Like that sounds great, but there's so many other opportunities that you can create for yourself by starting a business, getting on YouTube, becoming a personal brand online. That I wish that parents knew how important it is for your kids to see you do that, because it is out of the ordinary. It's not like something that is easy for them to explain. It's something that, you know, I was at my kids' parent-teacher conference a couple of months ago, and my daughter's teacher said something about, Ava said that you have a blog. And I was like, oh yeah, I do. And they were like, are we allowed to ask what it's about?
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you think it's about? Like, what? I don't know. Like, there's so many, like, it's just so abnormal that is a job, or that is part of a job, that when I think to show your kids that there's more trajectories in life than just go to school, go to college, get a job. And when your kids watch you do stuff that's hard or challenging or difficult, or like the first time that I spoke at a conference, I had this conversation with my oldest daughter about how I was nervous. And we were talking about all the different reasons to be nervous. Like, what if I mess up my words? What if this happens? What if I fall on stage? And we just started kind of laughing about all the things that could go wrong, but in a funny way. And then, but the point was like, she needs to see that I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that it didn't really occur to me before I started my business, how important it would be for my kids to watch me do it. But then once I started, I I started to see how grateful I was that they are literally watching me create something from the ground up.
Brilliant, brilliant. Uh, Completely agree with you. For me, it's very similar in terms of I want my kids to see that I'm happy and doing what I'm doing, and because I want them to be happy and them doing what they're doing. And if they don't see me doing it, then I mean it's almost like, you know.
Yeah.
So, do you think you've learned anything from what you do that helps you be a parent? So, from the stuff you've learned from video production or for producing video content, that makes it easier being a parent.
I don't know if creating videos helps me be a better parent. What I will say though is, I think it helps me be a better, like a better counselor or a better coach to them. Like I think that, like you said, I want my kids to be happy too. And I can see how even at 13, 14 years old in school, they're already talking about careers. They're already talking about what they're going to major in college. And they're talking about things like what the average salary is for that position and what the demand is for this career. And I just am like, how about like, how much would you enjoy doing that? Like, let's start there instead of how much demand there is for, for dentist or whatever. So I think, like you said, I want my kids to choose something that's going to make them happy. And so and I guess as a mom of kids that are a little older, since they're not toddlers, I'm just now starting to kind of experience how beneficial it's been for me to start a business, to do something like as weird as talk to a camera for a living, because like I know that they can literally do anything that they want. And I think not all parents really truly believe that for their kids. And because I've been able to just make up a job for myself, I know that it's possible. So I guess I hope that makes me a better parent.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant answer. So, we're going to move on to the tech stuff. What's your favorite camera and why?
Oh, my favorite camera. So I use a Canon 70D for my YouTube camera. It's like 5 years old, or it's actually more than 5 years old because I've had it since I started. And I really like it. It's really affordable. I think the 90D is the newest version.
Okay.
And
Has that got a flip screen?
yes,
Has it?
yeah, it has a flip screen,
Yes,
which is
okay,
totally
okay.
necessary. It has, facial tracking, so I'm always in focus. And
Brilliant.
it's worked really well for me. And I mean, I have like 7 or 8 GoPro cameras, but they don't work. They're
Oh
not that
yeah.
great for, creating a YouTube video where you're talking to the camera type of a thing. So they're more for, it's an action camera. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my favorite camera would be the GoPro camera, and you're right. They're not that great because I was still using another camera for vlogging and talking to the camera. But now I've got the
Yeah.
media mod. I've just hooked. I was like, right, everything is just going on to one thing, and then I had the camera grip for a gimbal. So I was using 2 cameras when I was out, and because of the stabilization in the GoPro now, it is completely awesome. As opposed, it's gimbal quality like. So I'm really happy with how that's kind of working right now, and I'm really excited about the only thing I really can't get now is nice depth of field shots,
Yeah.
just for and
Yeah.
close ups and stuff. But for vlogging, it's a good rock and go for
Yeah.
it, So on gimbals, with the amount of stabilization coming out now, do you think they're staying? Do you think they're
I
going?
don't know. I kind of think they're going.
Yeah, me too. I think they are completely just. It's just the stabilization now. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
good. So one of your oldest is 13, right? New platform TikTok. How do you think? What do you think of that?
Oh, TikTok is so interesting. I find it really entertaining. And,
Okay.
I think it's so easy to just like write off a new app as something that the kids use and not like embrace it or learn about it. But it's really, there's like people are migrating over there that aren't just kids. So but it's very entertaining. I like it. I like that. I guess they just created some like parental controls, I think. I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
available everywhere. But that will be interesting. There's a lot of there's a lot of things like I hear my kids say or things that they do, and I think to myself, where did they come up with that? And then I'll be on TikTok and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's where they came up with that.
For me, I'm kind of looking at it going, I just cannot get my head around how it works. I mean, I'm constantly looking at what people's attention are and what people are watching. And I upload one video and I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. This is here, put so much time and effort, cut it, edit it. And then nothing, no interaction at all. And I'm going, what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just can't get my head around how that kind of
Yeah.
works, So, one of the other questions I was going to ask you, with you working from home, what do you think is most difficult about producing videos with kids in the environment? But you've just said that you're now, the kids are out of the house when you're working, or do you kind of work whenever the kids are there? Or
I do if I have to.
Or
Like
bit of mix?
my office is a spare bedroom that's in the basement, which is nice because it's on a separate floor.
Okay.
But my kids, especially my youngest one, will be like totally offended if I have to come down to my office to do something, because she'll be like, we're snuggling on the couch. And so a lot of times I will bring my laptop upstairs and do some work up there if I can. But for recording, I am always doing that when they're away, or sometimes I'll just I'll tell them I need to go down and record a video. And then I have to, like, if I'm doing a live stream or something, I have to lock the door because my youngest will just walk right in. And it's depending on how I configure my office. Like right now, my door's behind me, so if she walks in, it's like I can't stop. It. So, I do most of my stuff when they're at school. As far as recording and editing, I do that in my office. So it helps to have a spare bedroom. When I started, I did it right from the corner of the living room. But again, I would do it when they weren't there. Or I would try and like do it on a weekend, and I had to do it, like record 100 different takes of the video because I'd get interrupted, and it's tricky with kids for sure.
I mean, my filming's okay for me because I kind of have that separate or they're in the video. But editing is, my workflow for editing is get it done quickly, because if it sits about, it's not getting done. So I literally put the whole project on a hard drive. If I'm in work, plug into the computer there, and then I have an iMac that sits in the kitchen, plug in there. If I'm maybe just working from the living room, plug into the laptop. So I just move with it until it's done. And that's what works really well for me. It would be really nice though to just have an office in the house. So it would, especially kind of out of the way, So what would you say is the next big thing for you?
The next big thing. Well, I have a goal this year to reach 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I'm at 42,000 right now.
Awesome.
And so that's a big thing. I'm at the point, where if I can't just keep I'm not going to reach 100,000 by just keeping going what I've been doing. So if I, that would be easy, right? That's not even really a goal. But I have to change things up because I'm going to have to grow faster than I have been. So I want to create more content. I hired a video editor so that I can focus on just recording and planning content. So that's a big thing.
Awesome. Well, that's us for today, Meredith. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to check out Meredith's channel, please head over there. She's on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys.
Let's get up and down!